Here's a picture of my notebook so that you can get a chance to see what your notebook's going to look like when you're done. So that goes at the very top of our page. First thing that we like to talk about is what is matter. We call it the particle theory of matter, and what that theory states is basically what is matter. And matter is anything that has mass and takes up space. That's particle theory of matter. So the next thing we do is we break it into components and we talk about the phases or the states of matter. And actually there are 4 states of matter. They're solid, liquid, gas, and plasma. We're going to call these phases or states of matter. And there's 4 types. There's solid, liquid, and gas. And we're going to try and do a pictorial representation of each. So this right here is my box, and in my box I'm going to represent a solid, and a solid has a definite shape and a definite volume. So we're going to put definite shape, definite volume. The volume doesn't change, the shape doesn't change. Then we have a liquid. Now liquid has a definite volume, but it has a indefinite shape. So the liquid will kind of move around. The particles of a liquid will move around each other. So it has a definite volume, but an indefinite shape. Then we have a gas. And a gas takes up the shape of its container. Put the A upside down just so things will fit better. So it has an indefinite volume and it has an indefinite shape. Okay, so it's indefinite shape, indefinite volume. And then the last one is plasma, which is just like a gas, except for it's charged particles. So it's kind of a charged gas. So we're going to kind of make it plasma, but we're going to give it some sparks. Not snowflakes, these are sparks. I should have made them yellow. There we go. Make them a little bit better. All right. So then the next thing we need to do is we need to talk about how matter is classified. So we're about at the middle of your page. I'm going to clear my screen so that I can have more room, and we'll fill up the middle of our page. So matter, so this is just below the states of matter. Matter can be classified. And we use a variety of ways to classify matter. One way we can classify matter is whether it's an element, a mixture, or a compound. So we think of elements. I write the letters of elements so that they're all exactly alike. They're all lowercase, they're all the same color, and they're not touching. Okay. An element can be broken down, or cannot be broken down into smaller components. That's what the alchemists used to try and do. They used to try and take all kinds of elements and turn it into gold. But by physical or chemical means, we cannot break down elements. Now, later on we learn about nuclear fusion and nuclear fission. And in nuclear fission, we are breaking elements down. But we can't really do that to make gold yet. That's why gold is still so valuable. And in an element, we need to remember that the atoms are exactly alike. Okay, we'll just draw atoms are alike. Mixtures, I like to have some capital letters, some lowercase letters, some different colors. All right. And a mixture is when we have more, two or more elements, mixtures, compounds, or elements or compounds. And so I could just do a variety of little things here. And they're all together, but they're not chemically combined. I can even have a mixture of compounds. If I want to chemically combine like these two, and maybe these two, you can see I have a mixture of compounds here. But mixture is two or more substances that are not chemically combined. So I'm going to put 2 plus, 2 or more, that plus means more, substances that are not chemically combined. Okay? And then the last one is a compound. And for a compound, I can use a variety of colors. In fact, in order to have compound, you have to have 2 or more types of elements, different elements, in order to have a compound. Okay, and they're all chemically combined. That's why I linked them all together in cursive writing. And so a compound is when we have 2 or more types of elements, and I link them up with a chemical bond, and these are all compounds. Now let me state something here. If I take these two and chemically bond them together, these are both the same element. This is not a compound. This is just an element, because in order to be a compound, it has to be 2 or more types of elements. So I have to make a different element here. And I'm just using colors and shapes to represent elements. If I wanted to, I could use symbols. Like H2O. This is a compound. So to remember, you want 2 or more elements that are chemically combined. So they are chemically combined. And I like to remember in this case CCC, compounds chemically combined. All right, now just put these in parentheses to remember. So underneath that, we're just going to put a little reminder, and this is the last little thing we're going to put on our page. So I'm going to clear my page so that you can see it. And that just has to do with organic and inorganic. And just a reminder that, and we'll just put this in a box in just a minute, but inorganic, meaning not organic, okay, is not living and never was living. These are things like plastics, artificial or manufactured type products that are not made from things that were once living and they never were living. And if you have something that's inorganic, it does not have carbon in it. So when you look in its compound, it's not going to have carbon in it. For instance, H2O is not living, it never was. It does not have carbon in its compound or in its chemical formula. Organic means that it is created from living things or once was living. Carbon is the element of life, and so it's going to have carbon in its components. So we're just going to, it's going to have probably a hydrogen as well in there. Then there are some exceptions. Not everything that has carbon in it is organic, but that's a beginner type clue. And that's it for that first page.